I can't imagine a better demo or a better representation of the London AI scene than having Lou from Tealdraw. Their infinite canvas is wild. Like, it was mind-boggling what they did. So I was running events in London before AI Demo Days. I was working for a consultancy. I was running the events before that at university. And then when I came to London, they were like, oh, we need someone to run this event. I was like, wait, you're telling me you're going to pay for me and my friends to drink some beers and like have a chat and maybe learn something? I was like, that sounds really fun. So I took them up on that. I started organizing events for the consultancy.
What kind of events were these ones?
They started off with serverless events. So very deeply integrated to AWS. We ran a lot of events with AWS. And yeah, they were really good fun. I met the whole community. That event's still very strong on Meetup. Like 5,000 people signed up to that event, which is wild. It's crazy. Like if I try to imagine 5,000 engineers in London
who are
like,
interested in serverless.
Yeah, who are really interested in serverless. That's wild. But I was running that event for a while. And then I also started an AI event in the consultancy. And then when I left, I like kind of missed it. I missed the in-person aspect. I really do enjoy it. And I don't think a huge amount of people do enjoy that type of putting the event together. So I was like, oh, I've got a little USP here. I want to do it. And so I reached out to a few friends when I started at Stack One. And I was like, will you help me run this event? Will you like put up some money? That's always like one of the hardest things about running an event is I never want to charge people to turn up. It's like a dev meetup. But I have like quite expensive tastes. So I do end up having to raise a fair amount of money per event. I don't like having pizza. I think it's very overdone. It's nice to have a nice venue. It's nice to have a big enough space. It's nice to get everything filmed. It's nice to like have photography and like make it feel like a conference. So I asked around a few places and basically everyone who I asked was like, yeah, sure, when?
Really?
And I was like, what is going on? Like this shouldn't be that easy to get that.
So who sponsored
money? So the first one, Single Store sponsored.
Single Store. Okay, nice.
The database.
Single Store is the one that Nikita from Neon was part of before, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
They have a surprisingly large presence in like enterprise areas in London. Yeah, and I'd met some of the AEs previously, and one of them had sponsored an event, a serverless like party that people were having a year before an AWS summit, and I got in contact with him. He's a lovely guy, Val, and yeah, he was just like, yeah, sure. When do you want to do it? And so he helped me out so much that first event. He like sorted the space. He like paid for everything.
Really?
They had budget.
Wow.
He did everything, and then I just had to get the people and the speakers. And I was like, this is an arrangement I can do, you know? And we had these amazing like falafel buns. They weren't all falafel. They were like fusion bao buns. I just remember the food. Everyone remembers the food.
Fusion
falafel. Bao buns. So you could have like falafel in a bao bun. You could have like, there were like burgers. There was like fried chicken. They were like really rogue, like fusion, halloumi ones, halloumi and avocado.
Okay. So wait, how much did this event cost? The first one?
I think the first one, the event space was about £2,000 and maybe like another £1,000, maybe like somewhere around £4,000 the first event.
So like 2,000 for the venue.
Yeah,
2,000.
maybe a bit over 2,000. I think that venue was a little bit overpriced.
Okay.
So in general, about £4,000 will run you in an evening venue.
With how many people? What was the space like?
This was about 50 people. Okay. So it was much smaller than everything we've done since. And the space was okay. It was okay. We could have done better. It was a bit dungeony. We could have done better.
Okay.
And then the next one, I was like, we can go a little bit bigger. We can go bigger. We can go bigger. And so what was the next one exactly? The next one we did at AWS. So the next one I was actually, a friend of mine offered me a venue inside AWS.
Wow. Cool.
And we ran, it was way too large.
Really?
Like it was that the next one? I'm getting too confused. We had one in AWS and we had one in Cohere, the model company.
Oh, they have an office in London?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And we had the guy who invented RAG. He coined the phrase RAG, came and spoke. And I was like, holy shit, this is wild.
They're in London. The guy that...
Yeah. He came out of UCL, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool. I think the AWS one was next, and then we had Cohere.
Okay.
And at that point, by then I'd worked out that the people who really like events were VCs. And so VCs love sponsoring things like this.
Oh, wait, sorry. They like to sponsor. They don't.
Yeah. They like events and they like sponsoring events.
Okay.
And it's good for their image. It's great for hiring for portfolio companies. It's good all around. Like they get to meet like interesting people. And
they're probably quite good at running events.
Yeah, they have normally teams of people who this is their job.
Yeah.
And if I can do something and it doesn't have to like disrupt their team and they can just pay me a little bit pay the event a little bit of cash to do it, then it normally works quite well for them. And they seem relatively stoked on it. Like, I mean, that they're the things they're getting out of it. Hiring, meeting cool people. Like they always want to add value to their portfolio companies. If they can be like, we have a demo slot at this, like the most exclusive AI event in London. Here, you can demo. Then like, that's great for their portfolio companies. So we'd kind of worked out the VCs like sponsoring. Oh, I have some really funny stories about the Cohere one.
I mean, you got to tell us.
Yeah, I've got to tell now, actually. Yeah, go on, I'll tell you. So we were all set. We had all the speakers. We had Cherry VC we're going to sponsor. It was going to be amazing. This one was the only one we've ever had pizza for, which was not my choice, but you know, amazing office space. Like we really got the vibe right. Like it was so good. Everyone was like crowded around. But the setup of it was such a pain. So I got a message from their office manager the day before the event being like, just checking, you are bringing your own chairs, right?
Oh no.
And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, we don't have chairs. I'm like, it's an office. What office? Does everyone stand up? What office doesn't have chairs? And so I was just like kind of flummoxed. I was like very confused. And so I got on my bike, I cycled over and I knocked on the door and was like, can you let me in? I want to go count your chairs.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we don't have chairs. And the office was so beautiful. Like they do such a good job there to keep it really nice. Yeah. And we just counted chairs. Like we just counted how many chairs there were. And I was like, we have 50. It's going to be fine. There's only going to be 80 people here.
Yeah. But these were the kind of like chairs people use at their desk.
No. This was not those. So I didn't want to use people's chairs because I assumed they were their chairs.
They did have chairs.
This was like poofs. This was like settees. This was like kitchen chairs. This was loads of stuff. And yeah. Anyway, there'd been some really funny ones like that. I think they just hadn't like, there's a big misconception. Like someone had offered us the space that wasn't the same person. And then most of running events is like communicating to people what you're doing. Yes, I'm going to be in your office in the evening. Please don't make me sign an NDA. Please don't make me have to like fill out loads of forms for everyone I want to bring in. And yeah, please can I have it for free?
Yeah.
It's like all of those things that are not very second nature to a company. And especially if you've never worked in a developer first company, which a lot of people haven't, then you might have never come across this random like person just turning up asking to use your office and being told from like higher up that was a fine thing to do. Like literally the way I got Cohere was I DM'd one of the founders on Twitter. And it was like, it was Ivan. And I was like, Ivan, can I borrow your office in London for an event? And like, I am not a famous person on Twitter. And he replied and was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What do you want to host?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to host an AI demo event. He's like, yeah, sure.
That's really cool.
And he called me the next day and we had a chat. Like he literally spent his time to like, just be like, yeah, it's fine.
Scaling DevTools is sponsored by WorkOS. At some point, you'll land a customer who needs enterprise features like audit trails, SSO, role-based access control. You could spend ages tearing your hair out building these things yourself, or you could use WorkOS. Let's hear from Utpal from Digger.dev.
I can speak for open source companies because I think that's where I have the most experience personally. If you're open source and you're doing enterprise first, the minute you think about monetization is when you should think about WorkOS. How it's designed is that you can start as early as day zero. But for us, it wasn't day zero. It was closer to when we first started monetizing because we didn't have a sign up at all. People could just anonymously use our tool. To be honest, if we do that again, I think we'd think about that on day zero, to be honest, because like, we should have done it on day zero, ideally. Anonymous usage should be permitted, but you should know who's using your tool. It should be opt-in, 100%. But it'd be great to have auth from day zero. So yeah, that's what I think.
Thanks, WorkOS. Back to the episode. We were talking before, and like, I think the reason that you actually messaged me about we should do an episode is I think you were listening to the episode on hackathons.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I want to talk about events. And also, I don't really agree that hackathons are such a good use of time, resources for dev tools.
Time, resources, or money. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I have to be persuaded on, by the way. Because
Yeah.
I feel like
imagine.
I'm in the pro hackathon.
So hackathons are great for the people who go to them. They're amazing. They're really good for your CV. If you do well, if you don't do well, like you've learned something new, potentially you've experienced something away from your job. If you're a student, you've like seen how professionals deal with experiences and like how they demo, how they, like, well, I mean, they're essentially a pitch a lot of the time, how they build something really quickly, the technologies they use, like everything is good if you're an attendee.
Didn't you win a hackathon with the government?
Yeah, with
Sunil
and
who you're
Thomas.
now going to be working with.
Yeah, exactly. So in our DevTools chat, when Sarah wrote, "Do you find hackathons?" What did she say? Do you think you get a return on investment?
Yeah, she did a poll. I think
it was about going to them though. It was like, did you like meet a co-founder? Did you raise money? Did you find a job? Or nothing? Chill out, Sarah. I think was the last option.
Sarah Drinkwater.
Yeah, she wrote.
Shout out, Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. And I wrote found a job because I think that was probably I think in that moment I was working with Sunil and Thomas, and I was like, these guys are really cool people to work with. And in the future, in some point in time, in some alternate life cycle, I would like to work with them again. And that's the beauty of hackathons, is you get to like see other people. But yeah, great as an attendee. As an organizer, I can see why VCs do it, because everyone's struggling for early stage deal flow, and you just immediately get early stage deal flow. So that's really good. I can see why open source companies do a little bit, because they have that community focus that they're trying to foster, and you get really good vibes from a hackathon most of the time. But I can't see why any other company organizes a hackathon. And that's, I mean, we were talking before this, and I was like, the products that you tend to be told to use at a hackathon are normally quite shit.
Interesting. Yeah. Go on. Tell us about
that. Well, like everything, you're being told to use a product because they've sponsored the hackathon. There's a reason why they sponsored the hackathon. It's because they either want to get like they want to get engagement, they want to get some user feedback, which probably means like the product is not quite ready. If it was ready, they wouldn't be sponsoring the hackathon. They'd just be giving prizes at the end. They wouldn't be like telling you to use the thing. I don't know, like the amount of times I've been to a hackathon or seen people at a hackathon and they get to the end and they get to the demo and their API keys run out of credits, or like this happened. We ran, it's going to sound like I'm really hypocritical, but because we actually ran a hackathon last week, and I think there was good ROI for that. But the day-long hackathons, the week-long hackathons for individual companies.
So your one was an evening.
Yeah,
like
mine was
2
an
hours.
2 hours, yeah.
£5,000 or dollars.
Yeah, like a silly amount of money, prize money. But we could do that because it's only an evening. So luckily we got the event space for free. We could just put all the money into like giving it to the attendees. And so I think you end up with like quite a fun experience for everyone involved. And we got some free product feedback that none of the attendees really minded, because for them, like so many of them walked away with actual money that it was like fine. So I think that's fine. But if we just like scale that up and imagine that evening hackathon was actually a day hackathon or a weekend hackathon. Suddenly we're gonna have to pay for venue. Like if it's a day-long hackathon, it might be £20,000 in venue, maybe more. A week-long hackathon, or a weekend-long hackathon, you can obviously times it by 2. Remote hackathons, I don't think you get any of the benefits of in-person hackathons. So I think
because you're not even seeing people struggle.
So I think you just like cancel that all out. Like remote hackathons is just such a low bar, and you just haven't met it if you're running a remote hackathon. And maybe people find some good go-to-market there, but I just don't see it. But yeah, if you're scaling this up to a whole day, your costs are just so astronomically high that if your ROI is just, I'm going to hire someone from this, then maybe you can accept those costs. If your ROI is, I'm going to get like brand recognition and all of this stuff, there's probably better ways of doing that.
Yeah. So how much would a hackathon cost typically, do you think, just for anyone that hasn't run one?
Well, like your venue expense for a day will be about £20,000.
And you have to have it potentially you might have it for the whole weekend.
And if you're having it for the whole weekend, it's more. Yeah. And there are some spaces that were specifically for this type of gig, and maybe you got them a little bit cheaper, but most of them are going out of business because like they can't sustain rent in central London, like for this type of thing, because no one should be paying for this type of thing. It feels so wrong. Let me give you another reason, because I feel like we've been a bit light on the reasons and a bit strong on emotions.
Yeah. Well, because I would throw it back that a lot of the ones I've been to have been held at VC's offices, and the startup usually is like the VC that invested in the startup runs a hackathon, VC provides the office for free.
So
and
I know Raycast did one at like
food.
Atomico, right?
Yeah.
And that was probably great for them. They just released this thing called extensions. Extensions are open source. Anyone can code an extension. And that was actually the model that we went for Disco, for our Disco hackathon. It's like we release these integrations, they're open source, anyone can code one. We like specifically made it possible to code them with AI. So it's very like easy to get started, quick to do, and you're limited by some imagination potentially. That's it. And so there's a really good candidate for a hackathon. And the Raycast one also. They're like a fun brand with cool branding. There was some really good swag. Like they'll have gained a lot of brand loyalty in London from that. And they'll have gained a lot of really good extensions because, I don't know, 50 people sat down for a day and built an extension. Like how much would they have to pay to get 50 people, like 50 days worth of extension building?
Just throwing it like devil's advocate, because you're kind of saying like, that it's not worth it for that. Like you like,
no, for them that's worth it. For them that's worth it.
But who is it not worth?
If you have a closed source product that you're running a hackathon to get people to use your product, and you're maybe a little bit early in the product life cycle, you're spending a huge amount of money and no one can see why your product's breaking when it breaks. Even if you're like slightly larger and you're running a hackathon and you're like one of the prizes, you're going to end up spending, if it's like API credits and you're giving away like LLM usage, you're going to spend a huge amount of money per person coming to the hackathon, even forget the costs of like the venue. The best hackathon, the A16Z one that I worked with Sunil and Thomas on, that was amazing. Like as an attendee, that was incredible. But that like, I can't believe that did ROI for A16Z. I mean, they left London like 6 months later.
They left London?
Yeah, they closed down their London office.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's not a cause and effect there, but if they'd have been doing obscenely well, they probably wouldn't have left. Actually, we have some amazing stories from that one as well. So we made this Parliament Wow, like the easiest way to see what was going on in Parliament. And we just summarized a bunch of video basically. And we did a lot of indexing of the Parliament bills going back really long time. I think till the 80s. I think it's basically all the ones we could get from Hansard, which is the government database online. And because we won this Build Back Britain one, which was like the government track, they actually took us to the Houses of Parliament. So I ended up going and like having this like mixer at the House of Parliament. We were like paraded around.
Really?
As like, yeah, look, these young entrepreneurs are like building back Britain and building all of the infrastructure for Parliament. And we were just there like, this is awesome. And I really want to do something like this, but we have day jobs. We're probably not your right demographic. And that is it. Like a lot of people who go to hackathons have no intention of quitting their day jobs to go and work on the hackathon. So even for VCs, right? Like early stage founders might, if they have a good idea, might not have a lot of time to go to hackathons. So a lot of the time you get career developers who work at big established companies going to hackathons, and they're not about to quit their day job to go and work on this idea that they bashed out at a hackathon. Like the people, yeah, I don't know. Like I just feels so misaligned. Was there an in-person event like a demo day where people actually bring the startups they're working on, and they are ready-made companies to invest in? Like for a VC, that's, to me, if I was eyeing up paying £25,000 in sponsorship for a hackathon, or paying £4,000 sponsorship for an evening event, and being like, I'm going to meet 120 people either way on either of these things. In one of them, they're going to be hyper stressed, slightly sweaty, and they're going to be trying to smash out an idea for a share of some prize money. Or in the other one, they're going to be super chilled out over a couple of beers. We can extend the conversation. Like we can like really get into it, and I'll have seen them pitch for free. I just don't understand how you would say, oh yeah, the hackathon's better ROI there for a VC.
Yeah. So tell us about the format of AI demo days for those that don't know about it.
So previously when I was working in consulting, we would do maybe 2 talks per event. And those talks would be 25 to 35 minutes, like long format talks. Yeah. And I'm honest, I just like, I'm part of like maybe not quite a TikTok generation, but I was getting quite bored a lot of the time. Yeah. And so I really wanted something shorter, snappier. So when I had my own control of these events, and I wanted more startups to demo, I was like, well, why don't we halve the time? So instead of 30 minutes target, it's now 15 minutes target. And actually it's 10 minutes because we'll leave a few minutes for questions at the end. So yeah, they're normally 5, 10-minute talks, 10 to 15-minute talks. And we go quick fire. There's no breaks. There's no time for people to like get up and leave halfway through. Otherwise, the last person feels like they got cheated, you know? Like if you have 2 talks and people leave halfway before the last talk, then the last person's like, what? Yeah, you called me here to like speak to 3 people? So yeah, we just go all the way through. The event has like good networking before, good networking time afterwards. You make the vibe feel like a conference, or not even a conference. It's like a meetup of friends. Like I started it because a bunch of my friends moved to San Francisco. I was working on this project called Quiver, which went to YC. And then I was just like, why did they have to go to YC? Like why? Why did they have to go to Y Combinator? Why did they have to move to San Francisco? And there are many reasons why they moved, none of which I'm going to fix, like why they moved out of Europe. But I thought the smallest thing I could do would be to have a space where I could see what some of my other friends or people, maybe I could make some new friends who are also doing similar things. And events are really, like in-person evening events are a really good way to do that, because you meet one startup who has this awesome, cool demo and they've got 10 friends, all of which are doing really cool stuff. And then you just keep ticking them off. And you work out what you like, you work out what you don't like. A lot of the time I feel a bit like a VC, and I have to be careful that I'm not just having like dev tool founders, because I've like quite a bias, right? Like I work on dev tools. So I need to try and make sure that I like get out of my niche every now and again. Yeah. Appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah, it's hard. What would you say you do? Like let me put it this way. If I was saying to you, I want to start running a kind of AI event in London, another one. And besides the fact you might be like, why? You don't need to. But
No, you should.
Okay, I should. Okay.
You definitely should.
So I should.
This podcast should have an in-person event. People are going to come because it looks fun. So it never looks fun if you're like begging people to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just don't worry about people coming in general. Like they will come if you do a few things
Play
right.
it cool.
Play it cool.
Treat them mean, keep them keen.
Yeah,
no?
Kind of. Not too mean, otherwise you might just be mean. Get the best demos you can get. I think we were really... So Lou from TL Draw opened our demo series, opened demo days. And I was like, I can't imagine a better demo or a better representation of the London AI scene than having Lou from TL Draw demo the crazy magical autocomplete teach computer stuff they do over at TL Draw. Like their infinite canvas is wild. And this was in that moment where they were really like pushing some of the funky demos that they were doing. And like, it was mind-boggling what Lou did. And so I think that really set the scene. Like the people who came to that first event, most of them have been to every single one.
Interesting. Yeah. So cool.
We had 50 people signed up. About 50 people came because they were pretty much just friends of mine, like I invited my friends.
Yeah,
I didn't have a huge network. And they've all been back. They're like the core group now.
Yeah. I feel like that's quite important. It's like having a...
Yeah. I think if Demo Days was a startup, it hit product market fit like right at the beginning there. Like everyone came back. Yeah. And that just shows that we need more events like this in London. Like when we ran an event in San Francisco, we had some amazing demos. Like the reason why we went was the head of developer relations at OpenAI, developer experience, Roman, said he would demo. And I was like, this is too much of an opportunity to miss. My brother was working at a YC company. So I wanted to go visit him. And we managed to put together at very last minute, like one of the coolest demo days I've ever seen. Like it was awesome. We had artificial societies, like they're based in London.
Yeah.
But they were going through YC as well. So they demoed at the same time.
That's cool. That's the one where you kind of get an idea of how your social media post will do, right?
Yeah. You can put out like a draft post and it will like put it through your whole LinkedIn network or your Twitter network. And it will tell you like, maybe you could try this variation or this variation and make this hook a little bit stronger or something. I'm really bad at writing social posts.
Do you use it?
I used it initially. I need to actually start paying for it. It's not something that I've like prioritized.
Do you think people should?
I think if you I think if you want to grow an audience, you should definitely try it. Yeah. I know initially it was very tuned for James, like the creator.
Yeah.
It worked really well for him. And you can see by his social posts, they were amazing. Yeah. Like every single one of them, I'm like reading all the way to the end. I'm like, why am I reading this? And it's like, I know your story, James, but it is incredible. And he's like really inspiring. And I'm really excited for them to roll that out for everyone. Like, yeah, we can talk a lot more about AS. They're super cool. Okay, so we're in San Francisco. Amazing demos lined up. 5 really cool demos. We had the creator of Docker as well on his new thing, like this Dagger. And I was like, oh my God, we've got like some of my like absolute heroes in technology demoing. And there were 5 other demo nights happening on the same night in San Francisco.
Really?
I was like, no one's going to turn up.
Wow.
We've got 5 other demos. So yeah, London needs way more stuff.
Yeah.
It needs like...
But people did turn up, right?
People turned up. We were full house. Yeah. We were full house.
Yeah.
We were really, yeah. I was wondering in that moment, like which other demo night got like, I don't know, 20% return or 20%.
Yeah. Maybe there just are enough people.
But maybe there's enough people, which is weird because there's not that many people in San Francisco. I think there's like 700,000 people in SF compared to what, 10 million people in London.
Yeah. That's crazy. So you were saying though that you want to create an event that people actually like looks fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Create an event that looks fun. I get a lot of help with the branding. So all of the branding is done by the Stackhorn designer, Morgan. So he keeps a very nice brand feel all the way through. Yeah. We actually just went through a branding refresh, which was really cool. He just out the blue was like, guys, I did new designs for you.
Really?
Sick. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So cool. And so like, for me, like I was showing him how I was doing the designs before, basically in Google Slides and like screenshotting stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, you're making me feel a bit ill. So he whacked out Figma and just like did it for me.
Yeah.
And so now cool. I can use Figma because he taught me. And so I can like make them myself, which is really cool.
Can you do frames though?
No, I can change words where he's already written words.
Yeah.
And maybe I can put a new image in and lower the saturation. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah. So I would consider myself somewhere between intermediate and advanced.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Nice.
I can do just what I need to do to get the stuff out the door. But it works really well. And yeah, so how do you do it? You make it feel fun. Damien's done a really good thing with AI Engineer. They were cool in that they started with a brand. So Tinkerers also has a worldwide brand. Anyone who's coming to London, they're probably, if they're from Canada or they're from San Francisco or even they're from Singapore, they're going to have heard of AI Tinkerers. And there's a bunch of other places now that they have them. But I think those are the big ones. And so they'll come to London, they'll be like, oh, I'll go to the Tinkerers event that's on. Yeah, I mean, we've done quite a lot of the big tech companies.
Yeah.
Previously, I've been to Meta, the office that now closed down in Rathbone Square. That was wild. All the lights like were controlled by this bunker underneath the main room where there are like 4 guys sitting in there with joysticks.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, this is the most amount of effort that's ever been put on for my event.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you've got this
like
awesome
4
event.
joystick guys.
Yeah, 4 joystick guys. It was literally wild. There were, I don't know, maybe 50 lights.
Yeah.
All being independently operated.
Wow.
And then they made a video for me afterwards, fully. Like
They
made it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
My contact at Meta had to get so many sign-offs to get it sent out, but it was so cool. So yeah, you got this amazing menu because you've gone to big tech and you've asked for it in the evening, and they're happy to give it to you. It's really good for their brand image, as we talked about earlier. It's good for their hiring as well. Every team at that moment was hiring, so it was great. You've got a little bit of extra cash. You always need some extra cash. Like this is the way that events fall apart. It's like you run out of money, or there's a surprise bill. There's always a surprise bill. Like probably at 1 in 3 events, there is like some surprise where someone drops out, a sponsor drops out, something changes, and you have to pay £1,000.
Yeah.
Your videographer decides he can't do it, and now he has a friend who has some time, but they want more money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you always have to raise some money for an event, even if you're like, we're just going to pay 50 quid for some pizzas. You can't. You need to have some actual cash.
Yeah.
For it to be sustainable in the long term.
Yeah.
And so that's why every event of ours is being sponsored by a VC since the first one. Not just a VC, we have had some external companies sponsor as well. Some of like really good London tech companies have sponsored. Yeah, you need to have some safety cash. It's so sad when events stop. Yeah. When like something that's been going for 10 years or less, like 8 years or something, and then just one day they're like, yeah, we couldn't do it. Why not? Oh, well, the last one I got burned by 500 quid because we had no one to pay for food and drinks.
Yeah.
And those problems get bigger as you get bigger. So if you start running an event with 150 people, suddenly your drinks cost a lot of money.
But Matt, do you think if like a dev tool wants to just run an event though, do you think that's worth it?
Like just for them?
Yeah. So like if they were like, okay, they were going to start AI demo days. Let's say like Cohere was going to start AI demo days in another time, in another world.
It's hard for them. Like it's hard for them because everyone wants to see everyone wants to see their brand image, their ROI. Like everyone wants to have their stamp on the event, and the best events have no one's stamp. They are actually a community thing. Everyone who arrives feels like they're part of the event. They're just like coming to see their friends demo something cool. I think events that are more like lectures can be good from a company. So Anthropic just put a bunch of events, they recorded them, put them on YouTube about how they use Claude Code, and they're amazing. And I've watched a couple of them, but they are lectures. Like to me, they're not a community event. They're like Anthropic, slightly pitching, slightly giving some good secret sauce about how to use their product. So that would be a way of running an event. I think they get away with a lot because they're very hypey and like, people want to be close to them. But that would be a way of doing it.
But what about the extreme, like you get like AWS reInvent or something?
reInvent's a sales pitch for everyone involved. So reInvent is like a completely different kettle of fish. It's like most companies that go to reInvent pay a ridiculous amount of money to go to reInvent.
But like if you're running, it's still kind of like AWS brand, but it's not just all about, my understanding is.
So like the cool one that I would say, there's always a fun one if you like in the AWS world, like there's this thing called ComSum and like AWS Community Summit, and it's normally ran in Manchester, and it's ran by a really good consultancy and some other people. And the other people that run it, they run it because they really enjoy running it. Everyone runs it because they really enjoy running it. It's an amazing event. And they keep the ticket price quite cheap, but it's not like, it's a conference. And so you're providing value because you have really good speakers that you know, who you get to come to your conference, and you charge for people to come, and you make people pay to be sponsors, and they get a little booth or whatever. That's one way of doing it, but that's a conference. That's not like an evening event. And the conferences are where people can like make cash and like you can kind of do everything, but they're a huge amount of work. Like I have a day job.
Yeah.
This is like a couple of hours a month we spend on this.
Yeah.
It's really, really nothing.
So the takeaway I'm hearing is like, because I think a lot of people think about running their own event series as DevTools, is probably it's better to just find, well, you know, talk to you or talk to other Matt Careys and just support their event and just be a part of it.
Like
part of
Louis
the
and Luke
community.
at Tinkerers, right?
Yeah.
Like now they were both DevTools startups. So, well, not so much startups, but Louis is running Bloop, which is he's DevTool founder, and Luke is working at growth at 11 Labs. Both of those people running AI Tinkerers, you don't see like 11 Labs branding very much like around the place. Like it's not an 11 Labs event. If it was an 11 Labs event, it would be a different demographic of people going. And that's what's the most important, is like you have to, and you only really get one chance at this. You have to get somewhere and the vibe has to be right. Like the people who are there have to feel like they are augmenting you, like you're learning something from them, even just the people around you. And if you turn up and they're like a different style of, like the people who are there maybe aren't like related to what you're interested in, then you're probably not going to get as much out of the event and you're not going to come back.
Yeah. 100%.
And so that is actually the hardest thing about running an event, is knowing, and I think this is what Luma's really helped with, the actual UX of Luma, is being able to be very selective about who comes.
Yeah.
I literally scroll through, and we do admit people first come, first served, but we also reject people first come, first served.
Yeah.
And that is an important distinction that maybe we don't shout about too much. We can't let everyone come. We won't have the space. And even if we did have the space, we want the people to come who are going to get the most out of the event. The same way that everyone can't demo at every event. Like I must get for the Stockholm event on Wednesday. I mean, I've done like 10 interviews with startups about them demoing. And I must have maybe 20 more emails. It's like, it is a little bit ridiculous for one potential spot that we had available. So like 30-1 is not great odds. And so it is your job as an event organizer to like craft that in the best way possible.
Yeah. You got to curate.
You got to curate. Yeah.
Matt, I think we're probably at time. In fact, I think we're at time. Thank you so much.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for having me on.
It was really fun. I learned a lot. I don't know if you want to do any shout outs quickly before we wrap up.
Briefly shout. So the event series that I run is called AI Demo Days. You can find it at demodays.ai. And yeah, I'm like Matt Z Carey spelled like Mariah, on like every social media and GitHub and LinkedIn and Twitter and all that stuff.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Matt, and thanks everyone for listening.